All right, so here I am sitting in my car. As you can see, it says Flightline, and then underneath this group incorporation. Where I'm at is I'm sitting in my car because I just finished my discovery flight. I am so happy I gave this a chance. It's really humid where I live currently. It started my flight. Discovery flight means your first time ever in a seating, passenger seat of a pilot flight. So what I mean by that is you will actually be sitting in a small aircraft or airplane, and then the pilot will be in one seat and you'll be in the next one, and they will actually fly you to see if you like it, or if you are like, I'm just happy that I got a chance to sit in the passenger seat of seeing, you know, what it looks like to be a pilot. So I did that. Mine started at around a little before 10 a.m. and now it's 11:43 a.m. on Saturday, and today is June 27, 2026. And I actually had this flight scheduled last Saturday, but there was rain clouds and the weather was not good. And so they were like, we're going to have to cancel it and reschedule it. So I was able to have it rescheduled for this Saturday, literally a week later. And I love it. As I've mentioned in my other videos, I'm a U.S. Air Force veteran. My job in the Air Force for 6 years active duty was non-destructive inspection technician, or NDI. I would inspect the aircraft for any defects or no defects. And I would use up to 7 or 8 procedures like X-ray, ultrasound, we called it ultrasonic, penetrant, mag particle, oil analysis, and more. And I absolutely loved it, but I never got a chance to actually fly. The closest was sitting in the cockpit of an F-16 or F-15 that I had to inspect at one of my 3 bases. So my first base was in the state of New Mexico. My second base was in South Korea, and my third base was in Britain or England. And it was either one of either my second or third base that I got to sit in the cockpit and inspect a certain area, but that was it. And so I was like, I want to learn how to fly for fun. It's like, I know how to drive manual. I love it. I was like, the next goal is to learn how to fly just for fun. And I actually took a career assessment test about a month or so ago just to see where I was at, and it said I would be great as a pilot. So that's why I was like, what do I need to do to get to this level? And to find out, they said, we'll take a discovery flight and see if you actually like it or not. I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna show pictures. I wish I would have videotaped, but I didn't want to because I was just having fun. It's like, it is so cool. It is literally, the way I would describe it, of driving or flying a plane, is a mixture between a motorcycle and manual driving. And I know how to do both. So I have taken motorcycle lessons in the past, especially when I was in Britain, living there for 8 years. I actually had my first and only motorcycle there, but I couldn't ship it back because it cost too much money. So I had to sell it before I moved after 8 years. And I was like, the next time I make enough money, I'm going to get my second motorcycle. And then me driving my manual car, or gearbox transmission, ta-da! I love it. To feel this aircraft like that, I said, oh, this is what I need to do. So yes, I am going to learn. Now, it costs a lot of money, okay? So that's why I'm not jumping on this, because to find out, like, you have to spend buku money, and I mean like a lot of money, to become a flight, to get your flight hours. And then if you really want to fly like different aircraft, they expect you to really like get a lot. So, so yes, I'm like, I am going to do this. And there is another thing I'm going to pivot. So I'm actually going to change my direction of building my next career, because where I'm currently at, I'm finding out it's not really what I enjoy doing. And the things I enjoy doing is like this, like, you know, I love driving and traveling. So I do not like staying in one spot too long. So I was like, I need to be looking for things like that. So the other thing I'm going to do, I won't mention it until I start the course. And yeah, like these two things would work together. So, the other thing I'm going to do first is going to prepare me, get everything like ready, and then I'll be able to do this as well. So, I will send those photos with this video, and I am excited. And there was somebody who just drove by. I don't think you got to see who it was, but she's one of several women pilots. And all of the people in this place, it's Epic Flight Academy. That this is this is the company. She told me, like, she's like, there's a lot of us women pilots, and she's like, her as well as my original flight instructor, I got to see her today. She and I got to talk last week, last Saturday, and she was telling me, like, there's various organizations for any and everybody. And she was like, there's women, and you know, I found a organization for Black pilots and maintenance crew, and then the same, there's like different men organizations to help with like scholarships and for anybody, any individuals. So I find that so fascinating, because this is new for me, and I'm just like excited. So I was like, how can I get into this but be reasonable and realistic with trying to build this? Because like I said, pretty much I'm going to give you the amount of money. You would have to spend about up to $200,000 to become a full pilot. Like, talking about like commercial flight and any other kind of flights like that. And what it is you're building your flight hours, and they expect you to have a certain amount of flight hours, and that's what I'm learning. So looking into this is not just jump in it and you can go do it. No, like, you have to prepare and plan. And that's something I love. I plan in advance. I like to make sure I can develop myself. I'm learning that's what pilots schooling is, or training. They do things step by step, and I'm like, yep. So I'm super excited, but I'm not going to rush into this. This is just today. I wanted to get this discovery flight and to see if I really would like this. And like I said, with my military career, I had the 6 years being an NDI technician, which I loved. Like, I have still all of that knowledge, and I still talk about it like I'm freshly out of the Air Force. Like, if you see me in my everyday life, I will bring it up, because it was just it's a cool ass job. Like, you know, and I was working on multi-million-dollar aircraft, like inspecting them for defects or no defects. So not many can say that, you know what I'm saying? And so yeah, so to go into flight school with that knowledge and knowing about inspecting the aircraft, making sure it's safe, I love that as well. So all right, bye.